most of the changes that are occurring that are impacting negotiation have to do with the availability of data and the speed of data, and I'll go through them quickly. The first one is really a shift from sustainable to transient competitive advantage. For many, many years, based on Michael Porter's book, Competitive Strategy, most of us have been trying to achieve sustainable competitive advantage. And Columbia professor Rita Gunther McGrath just put out a book called The End of Competitive Advantage. And I don't know that it's quite that, but I do know that this notion that we have this long-term strategic advantage is going away, and we now need to learn how to sell and negotiate in an environment with a series of short-term transient advantages. And that's put real pressure on salespeople as negotiators, because in the absence of competitive advantage, the only thing you have to focus on is price. So there's that shift in how do we negotiate in this new environment. There is also, Google calls it the B2B buyer digital revolution, and Forrester recently stated that buyers have 60 to 90% more data by the time they contact a seller. And this goes on throughout the negotiating cycle. The buyers now have access to more data just via the internet and third-party analysts on you and your competitors, and so sellers are severely disadvantaged from a data perspective when dealing with professional buyers in negotiation. And I think the third thing that's happened is again, because the availability of data, markets are much smarter. We used to be able to negotiate deals in a vacuum, and now the deal we did last year will impact the negotiation that we're going to have next year, because there's a lot more organizational memory. And it gets even worse, because the deals that you do multiple times in the marketplace and your competitors are doing set up sort of an industry model for negotiating. So we need to start thinking about negotiating as kind of almost a brand equity position, that there are industries who give away very valuable parts of their value proposition because that's just the way it's done in that business, and that's making it more difficult. Another huge impact is the emergence or re-emergence of professional buyers. They're younger, they're smarter, they're better trained. Arizona State's pumping out 25-year-olds with MBAs in strategic sourcing who are doing total cost of ownership analysis on you and your competitors, and again having much more insight into the negotiation than salespeople do. And finally, and this is an internal challenge, Harvard studied negotiation practices in 45 companies and published in Harvard Business Review that the number one issue facing all 45 companies was the internal negotiation. And it was surprising to me. I expected to hear about competitors buying share or customers being tougher on pricing, but really it was the internal negotiation. It was the lack of an alignment of negotiation strategy. Most of us have sales strategies in place, but we don't have negotiation strategies, and we end up asking salespeople to sell solutions, and then they need to come back in internally and negotiate with one vertical, with the lawyers, with the product managers, with the pricing folks, the legal people, one at a time in order to get a deal done. So any negotiation solution that doesn't first address the lack of an internal negotiation strategy is most likely going to fail. Most negotiation training solutions were built many, many years ago without a lot of the availability of data and the complexities that are in the marketplace today, and their long list of tactics and countermeasures, body language, soft skills, and those things no longer work. The thing that's appropriate today for negotiators is data and facts. What really empowers negotiators today is data and facts and insight, so they can lead the customer throughout the negotiating process.